Jody, Jody, can you see me?
Yeah, I can.
How you doing?
Hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yep.
What's new with you?
Just laying tile.
Laying tile today?
Yep. Yeah. Well, sheetrock. I,
You're doing all the work at your own personal house?
yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get it done. I got a loan to finish it, so I've got to focus on that and go out and try to make money because payment's extremely expensive.
Yeah. Can I ask how much you borrowed? Like a million? Million
Yep. Yep.
two?
A million.
What are you paying for interest on it?
It's 10,000 something a month.
So like 10%.
Something like that. Yeah.
Mm. What's your mortgage going to be like when you finish? Something close to that, right?
Well, that's all I owe. Everything else is paid for.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to make a HELOC out of it. So this is kind of going to be my bank. So anything I want to do, I can talk to the guy today to see if I can leverage it so I can get a HELOC. But he said, "Oh, because it's in Utah, we can only do 750K." And I'm like, "That's a drop in the bucket, dude."
You need to talk to a different lender at that point.
Yep, yep,
So I have a couple of lenders, right? So the first house that I did, not the first house that I did, but the first time that I got serious about borrowing, um, nobody wanted to talk to me. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think it was because I was a woman that some people were like, pretty much go fuck yourself. What do you know about anything? Goodbye, sort of deal.
yeah.
And then when I finished one of my first houses, I ended up having a meetup at it because that's just who I am, is that I want to like talk about it, share the deal, all that other fun stuff. And so once I started talking about it, that's when I started having lenders reach out to me and offer me things. And so now I have a bunch of lenders that are kind of competing. So I have a list of people, but you're probably going to have to go down that list and talk to people about, being able
I
to
think
pull out money the way that you want to pull it out.
I think you sent me one, but he didn't work out either. So I had
Say it
one
one more
guy that
time.
I think you sent me one, but I don't remember. I'd have to go
I
back.
There was one, but that was a while ago. So that one is actually Julian. Julian is out of sub
Yeah,
two. He's one of the
yeah,
original lenders, and I like him a lot because he's just very humble, very down to earth. And then the other thing that I like about him is there's no bullshit with him. So I
yeah,
feel like sometimes when you borrow money, they kind of have a sliding scale of where they can start you. And obviously, at the end of the day, money is an incentive for people. And so the more they lend you, the more they make, the more points they pick up at the front, the more money they make. But
yeah.
to me, there was no bullshit with him. I never had to go back and forth and argue or, negotiate for myself. He was like, here's the best that I can offer you. This is it. And I was like, yeah, easy, done deal, send it, let's go. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm kind of
Julian. I remember you talked to him briefly about a project. I don't know if it was this project.
this project.
Okay.
Nathan too. He's just on mute and everything. So
So Nathan is somebody who's out in Western Massachusetts. Nathan, you can come off mute. That's not a problem. And he knows a mutual friend of mine, which is Matt Slowick. Matt Slowick is also very versed in borrowing money. He has a normal 9 to 5 job. I swear he works for like waste management of the town that he lives in, and he won't give up that job. And then on top of it, I think he has about 17 doors that he self manages. He's about 40 years old, Polish guy, very hard headed. And he's also the person who like lectures me about doing my own plumbing. And I'm like, Matt, do you not know who I am? And he's like, oh, just go get this. It's really easy. And so like he gave me a whole spiel. I retained like 1% of it. But there was a time where I got ghosted by my contractors and I had like an inspection the following day. And so it was time to woman up or shut up. And so I ended up YouTubing a lot of it. And once I had finished, I was like, damn, it wasn't actually that hard. I
you
feel like
didn't
what I
you didn't call either.
say it again.
You didn't call either.
I know. Well, also because it's like 1 a.m. in the morning and I'm panicking, and I'm not trying to be seen at that time. I know you're very sweet, but this is not how I think. And so usually what I do is I ask Chat GPT, give me a step by step, and then I also ask for YouTube because I need somebody to demonstrate for me, and then for me to be able to do it back. So no, but
Well,
I
That's
listen. I
good.
appreciate having you.
but you don't use it. Just just like you promised me a Google Sheet thing last week and I didn't get it.
What you mean? What Google Sheet?
I talked about taking pictures in my WhatsApp, and he says, "Hey, there's a better way to do it."
Yeah, no. I gave you the recording, and it's a Google form. And if you want a Google form, I can absolutely make you a Google form, but you just have to tell me if you want one. And if you do, we should sit down together so I can make you a custom one.
I'll have you sit down with my son. He does my books, but I thought, yeah, because you mentioned, you said I'll send you one so you can see what it looks like, and I never seen it. So
Yep. No, I did. You're tagged in do you don't use Facebook? Okay, Jody. Okay. I remember who I'm talking to. I gotcha.
I
Yeah.
I only use Instagram. I don't even get on. I don't get on Facebook. I don't. No.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. Facebook is great for when you are trying to like share resources. If I did it on Instagram, it would be a hot mess versus Facebook
Yeah.
groups. So anyway, I tagged you in it. It's a video. It's a video so you can see how this girl, her name is Rachel. She speaks Spanish, but you can see how she designed hers. And then depending upon what you like and don't like, you just copy it and then cut out the stuff you don't like and add in the stuff you do like.
You tag me in Facebook.
I tagged you in Facebook, but what I'll probably do is once we get off this call, I'll tag you again. Or the other option is you can go to Facebook, you can search for Creative Elite, and then within there, like all the resources are there. So one of the things about me is like just who I am. I usually like wake up and I get busy at like 2 o'clock in the morning and nobody's awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I like to make sure resources are available 24/7 because I don't know what you're doing and I don't want to slow you down. So yeah. Nathan, nice to have you join the call. Today's
Nice.
call today's call is a little bit funky. I ended up going to a meetup just now that I left in the middle of it, and then I ended up having court today. And so, to be honest, I was not successful at court. I had a best friend of 3 years who stole from me. I had a motion that we filed, but it's a little bit funky because he's in Maine, and then the property is in Massachusetts, and then he's also like ghosting everybody. So having him served in Maine for a Massachusetts property is a little bit funky and all over the place. But
Yeah, that's no
anyway,
fun.
I'm doing this from my car, which is not normal. But one of the things about these calls, so back in the day when we were like, you're familiar with Sub 2, right, Nate?
Yeah, I've been following it for almost 2 years now, maybe.
Are you in or you're just following along?
No, I've never paid the fee. I've gotten so much out of the, just stalking them and like going to like Zoom meetings and stuff. But I've always said I'll pay the fee like when I lock down my first property with them.
Yeah. So in all honesty, if you ever get to a point where you do want to join, you can actually join with up to three people. So if ever you thought like, oh, I don't want to pay that fee, it's too much. If you find anybody else that wants to join, you join as business partners, and then it's the same amount of money. So if it's like 10,000, it's now 5,000 per person. And then if you want to add a third person, I think it's about 1,300. So or like 2,000, something like that. So you can join as a team of 3 and save money that way. If you wanted to join, I don't think you need to. Because the other thing that I'll say is if you do join, the amount of material that's available to you, it's going to take you a solid year for you to even get good at any of the shit that's offered. So half the time I just tell you partner with somebody who's already in.
It's taken me a solid year just to go through the free stuff that they have on there.
Yeah, Nate, you're never going to make it. I promise you. Nate, he has been putting out content forever. Like I used to think, oh, I'm going to watch this. No, yeah, I can't even watch the new stuff, old stuff. There's so much stuff out there.
Yeah, I got lured into him because he's also Latter-day Saints.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jody,
so I thought that
Jody.
was kind of cool.
Woo! Nate, ask Jody what he is.
This the other person on the Zoom?
That's me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you a Latter-day Saint?
How do you think I speak fluent Spanish?
Oh yeah. I
Nate,
that's good.
what
I
language do you
speak a little
speak?
bit of Spanish because my wife's Puerto Rican, so
Well,
Well,
I
did
went
you
to
do?
the Dominican Republic for a year.
nice. Nice. It's gorgeous out there.
Yeah.
It's basically the same as Puerto Rico, but yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. I've touched down in Puerto Rico, so
Yeah. That's nice.
they speak the same style of language. Puerto Ricans, it's Caribbean slang of
Ex-
Spanish.
Exactly, yeah.
So is it creative group, or the elite creative solutions?
No, creative elite.
That's it?
Creative elite, that's it. It's green, chartreuse. It's my favorite color. Nate, I'll send you an invitation to it. So just to give you an overview, right? Like I was
Mhm.
explaining, I went to court. I had a best friend of 3 years steal from me. So in sub two, back in the day when we first started, we were really like tight knit. Like there were like 3 people on a call and that was it. And we used to spend so much time together working through like the course material, working through deals, trying to like figure out ourselves too, because you have your own baggage that you bring to the table when you're working. When you're working, when you're not working, when you're trying to work, and blah, 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 leadership and blocks and whatever. So we used to have this kind of like real estate therapy call, and we were very close on it. And as things got bigger and bigger, we ended up finding out that people that we thought we knew, people that we thought had high integrity, didn't actually have it. Because one of the problems, I think, just in general, is once you throw money into the mix, things start to get a little bit funky. And so I think it's really important. And the whole reason why I have this like Tuesday night call is to help people, talk about what you did this last week, talk about what you have coming up this next week, hold each other accountable. Because if your friends are watching you, if people you respect are watching you, you're less likely going to be an a-hole when nobody's watching you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had a friend who stole from me. I got to talk about it. But one of the things that I realized is the reason how I made it out alive, because it was honestly one of the most devastating things I've been through. Devastating, humiliating, the whole 9 yards. I call it my real life K-drama, and I'm actually half Korean, so I can say that because it's really like convoluted and super fucked up. But I made it out alive by having good friends. And actually, Matt Slowick is a very, very, very good friend of mine. He was probably like friend number 1. And believe it or not, Matt Slowick might tell you this if you get to know him really well. One of the reasons why I even ended up in the spot that I was in is because somebody stole from Matt. And when I watched them steal from Matt, and Matt is such like a top tier, super sweetheart, amazing kind of guy, because he was so awesome, because the person stole from him, because I was honestly so devastated by that, I got together with my best friend of 3 years and I was like, what are we going to do about this? I can't go out and essentially like pillage, whatever the word is, like tar and feather this guy, because sub 2 doesn't allow you to speak badly about bad practitioners. It's a whole thing. They can't sell memberships if people are talking shit, or they can't sell memberships if people are having a bad experience. And so they really do put like a gag order on people. And so I talked to my best friend and I was like, I'm super bothered by this. I don't know what to do. And then one day I had an idea where I was like, you know what? If they won't let me talk about this person and what they did, then I'm going to use my voice to tell everybody how to do a deal the right way so that they never end up on the back end ding dong like this.
That's awesome. Yeah,
And,
so they know what to look out for. They know the shady signs. Yeah.
Right, because if I can't tell you don't do this, then I'm going to tell you what exactly to do. And if it doesn't line up, then you should know that might not be it. Maybe I got to talk
exactly.
to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. That's the most creative way around it.
Listen, sounds like a good idea, right? And I also thought it was a good idea. While I was doing that, my friend ended up stealing from me the same way that Matt got stolen from.
Shut the fuck up.
So when I tell you it's my real life K-drama, I am not joking. It was bad. It was humiliating. It was terrible.
You're like, I literally should have taken my own fucking advice.
Not even that. You know what's even worse is like, so the other thing I wanted to tell people is when I first started flipping on my own, it was so stressful. I'm not a person that like asks for help. So Jody is wonderful. Jody's in Utah. Jody can do anything. And Jody is such a sweetheart to me. We had this magical moment out in Montana. We both got called out there for a special event. And then I had this like, no joke, amazing moment with Jody. And so Jody says that time has kind of like been a spirit, like brother, sister to me. And he's always been like, I got your back, just call me, you ding dong, call me. And I don't do that because when I'm entrenched, I'm just like trying to solve my problem all by myself and I don't want to bother anybody.
No, anyway, I get it. YouTube can save you. You know, like when I got into the trades, everything was secrets and secrets. But now, you know, if you have any kind of really, you know, ambition for it, YouTube can pretty much get you there.
Right. There's a lot of that information out there.
Yeah, the pros can do it faster. We know like the little tricks and stuff. But Reddit and YouTube can get you a long way.
So Nate, so just to introduce you both, Jody is I love him. He's like my soul brother, right? Not a soul sister, soul brother. Okay. He's absolutely magical. I'm not joking when I tell you, like, I had the most divine timing with Jody in Montana of all places. And he's like, there's a reason why we're together. And I was like, I know. And I am not a religious person. He is obviously, you know, same as you. My mom is religious, but I'm not. And he's like, Suzanne. And I was like, listen, I know there's something greater in the mix that's happening right now. I don't know what it is, but like, I know that there's something more than me. Anyway,
yeah, when it happens, you can feel it.
Jody is spectacular. And then Nathan, Nate, Nate operates in Western Massachusetts. He reached out to me. He's been in contact with me because I think you've been following me on Instagram. But he has a deal in Western Massachusetts and he's not really able to get the funding for it. And so one of the questions he sent to me was, you know, how can I raise money for it? It's about 70,000 is the purchase. It's going to do maybe about 400 on the back end. And it maybe needs like 150 worth of work. Right? So far, so good.
Yeah, correct. The back end, the ARV, would be a little bit more. I just like to estimate on the small end. Everything around it is a single story ranch, and at 400, and this the property is actually next to my property, which is the same as a 2-story duplex, and mine is at 520. So it should, and it should be around 450 to 5, you know, in that range.
Yeah.
When it's finished. And the property is actually another church friend of my grandmother. So that's why she's willing to wait, you know, for me to go through all this, because she has a cash offer, but the guy is like a local slumlord. So she's kind of willing to wait a little bit on my end just to, you know, help me.
So this would be your first renovation project, period, correct?
As an owner, yeah, I've been a contractor my whole life, but yeah.
Have you ever worked on a project before that had, so your rehab budget is 150, right?
So it's 170.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you ever done a rehab project that was 170 to where you managed it start to finish?
Yeah. So right now I'm building a $500,000 house ground up.
And you're in charge of everything, like you're the licensed GC, you're the shot caller on it?
I'm the project manager. So I'm the project manager. The licensed GC would be my mentor, who's the guy who's going to pull the permit on this, but he's 80 years old and he's had 2 strokes. So he just pulls the permit pretty much at this point.
You're just using his license to do the job.
Yeah. Yeah. I've taken the exam and I've failed it twice. It's just, it's so hard. It's open book, but it's 90 seconds per question to answer them. And you have 12 books at this point now. So
when I took it, they had a course. I mean, hell, I took it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a course. They teach and memorize. They'd have all the answers.
Yeah, I did that course. They just basically show you how to organize and like quick tab your book, because it's all about speed.
The
it's hard for someone who's like, I don't know, I didn't do great in school, but in the trades, you know, you don't have
Yeah.
90 seconds to think of something. You have all the time you need to think of the correct
Right.
answer.
Like I say, they ran through all the questions. They got all the questions from the test, and then they would say, okay, we've built this to where you'll miss by 20%. You'll still pass.
Yeah.
And so they went through the exact question so you could see the question and read the question and know what the multiple choice was immediately. And they drilled us for 3 days. And then we walked in and took the test. And then we took the book and they said, if there's any new ones, let us know.
Yeah.
And that's how they did. That's how I did it 30 years ago.
Yeah, that they operate exactly the same now, except now it's literally 12 books. So you have your four or five books now, and then Massachusetts has amendments for each of them, and then we just adopted a new energy code.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go pretty crazy.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, it's just really bad in this state.
And they let me, so I have an E100 and I was able to, because of my years, I have a B100. So I have all the trades I need.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could go for, you know, restricted, but I just keep going for unrestricted because you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely, if I just keep failing and failing. I mean, I don't need an unrestricted license because I don't plan on building any skyscrapers. If I go with the restricted, it cuts the books down in half, so it's, you know, half the amount of books, and you can do everything up to a threeplex. So you can do threeplex, duplex, and single family.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. I can do any size I want.
Yeah, that's why I keep going for it. I was like, yeah, you never know, but yeah.
Oh, it's just when I get on an apartment complex, can you do this? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Whatever it is. Yeah. You're like,
Well,
yep.
you can't go on the road. Yes, I can. I have that. I have, because E100 goes in the road, B100 does all business.
Yeah.
You could do a G100, which is just general contracting, but the
Yeah. So
B100.
I think our state does it differently. It's just really, they do it like, they can break it down like, you know, roofing, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we have
Um,
all that too.
and then
Yeah.
it's just either restricted or unrestricted. And then
Mm,
unrestricted is just everything, commercial, everything.
yeah. Yeah. Like I say, we have a G100, which residential, and then you have a B100, which covers everything.
Yeah.
But the takes care of everything in the roads and stuff like that. So that's the engineering 100 is what it is. So,
Like, I'll do whatever. Yeah.
but that's, yeah, if you have E and B, you have it all. But
Yep.
then you have specialty trades, you know, like I can't do plumbing, but shit, I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got guys that'll just, you know, put their license on it because it's at this point, you know, there's so many people with licenses that are unable to work because they're so old.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would say
Yep.
use that guy until you get your license. I mean, I don't know if you
Yeah.
charge a fee or something, but that's what I do.
No, I keep doing it. You can try it once every 9 months. You can take the test.
Okay.
So I do that, but I mean, I stay pretty busy. I got 3 kids and we homeschool them, so that,
Yeah.
you know, it keeps me. And then I do I work 4 days a week. So
So Nate's on the call because he's trying to figure out how to get money to do his first flip. I mean, at
Mhm.
this point, if you have a mentor, right, who's 80, who pulls permits for you, does he also like invest as well, or he's just a mentor in the trade?
no, so he's just a GC. I've just known him my whole life. He's the one who's got me in the trades. He could help me by like reducing the costs on everything. But
Yeah.
he's not like, he's never been like, you know, money hungry, I guess. He's always kind of passed the savings along to the homeowners, whoever we're building for. He pays all of his guys pretty well. So he doesn't take home a
What
lot
I'm
of money, you know. So I know his house, like he doesn't have like the money to invest it himself, but
Yeah, because what I'm asking is, has he ever done a project like, so for example, the $500,000 house that you're currently working on? Because the question I asked you is, have you ever been in charge of a $170,000 rehab project start to finish. You said, yes, I'm currently working on it right now. I have a mentor, la, la, la. But who's the owner of that project? Is it
Oh,
a,
so we build custom build usually for professors. Yeah, so
so
that's
technically you can do this without question. You just need to be able to qualify for the funds.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I even have, a crew of guys that will, do it as well.
Yeah.
He has the experience, so whoever gives him a loan will give him the experience. He needs a little bit of collateral and somebody that'll give him the loan.
Yeah, I mean, and if it comes to as far as like collateral and only collateral, I could get like my dad or my mom to throw up their house on it. But they don't like they're retired, so they don't have like income.
Can they pull a HELOC on it?
I don't know what that is.
So it's a loan that sits, you can take in and out on it. It's a second mortgage loan on the property. If they would allow it, you'd have to go check with, it can be through, I have my HELOC. So the house I bought that I'm building right now, I pulled a HELOC off my house so I could buy the land.
Yeah.
So basically, if the value of the property it has enough in there, you can take money out. It's a variable interest, but it's for 5 to 10 years. I mean, my credit union said I had to keep it. I had to hold it for 5 years. They didn't say I had to keep it up for 5 years. I just had to hold it. Then they wouldn't charge me a fee on that. But it's and if they would let you co-sign on that and they signed on it, because you could pull your income from it to do it. Then you can use their house as a HELOC, which is a second mortgage on it, but it allows you to pull that money out, take that loan, and then that would be easier, and your interest rate would be a lot less.
So I could use like my income as the first stepping stone, and then the HELOC to bump it up to enough what we need to
Your
get the loan.
HELOC, well, they'll pull the value of the house has to be appraised, or sometimes they'll look at what the tax records are, depending on
Yeah.
what's owed on the house. But in that HELOC, you can say I would be a co-signer on the HELOC. Being a co-signer with them on that HELOC, you might have to play the game of ask them to transfer your name onto the title. So they would be able to pull your income on that HELOC. Do you see the game I'm trying to pull for you?
No.
So
It honestly, it might be a little bit too sophisticated to do all that, but at a simple way, a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. That's the whole acronym HELOC. And so essentially your parents, once they get to a retired age, for the most part, they usually pay off the house so that there is no more mortgage. Or if there is a mortgage, the mortgage is really tiny compared to the value of the house. Plus there's been tons of appreciation. So the HELOC essentially is a way for your parents to be able to pull the value of the house out as cash, and they use their home as the collateral.
Yeah, so I actually know the value and what they owe on both of them. So my mom just bought her first property 5 years ago.
Okay.
She has like a 3.3% interest rate on it. And it's a duplex that we've been renovating. So she paid 340. I think the mortgage is at like 320 now, and the value is 520. But my father's property, he only owes, I think, 55 on it, and its value is like 280.
Yeah. So another thing to consider is you're not always able to take out the full value. Some people are going to ask you to leave at least 20% in. So if we talk about your mom's duplex and it's worth about 500,000 just for easy numbers, 20%, if you left 20% in it, it means you have to leave about 100,000 in. If your mom owes only 325, then technically there's a $75,000 equity she can pull out of the house. But
Yeah,
once
so
she
not a terrible amount, but a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so if she's able to pull that out and give it to you, then you have 75,000 to purchase the project you want to do, right?
Yeah. Now, does that affect her original mortgage or
No.
anything like that?
No.
It's like it's some separate entity.
It's a separate thing, but as soon as she takes money out, usually a HELOC is it's kind of like you're generating a new mortgage, but you're generating a baby mortgage.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So she's going to have to make payments on that. And so if your mom is paying like, I don't know, 7% interest rate on her HELOC, then you, as her son, honestly should pay at a minimum that 7% so that your mom is not losing money. And then
Right,
if you want to do better by her, you can actually pay her 10%, 15%, whatever it is that you want to whatever it is that you guys want to decide. But that's one way to get money out. So if you're not able to pull like a construction loan or a couple things. Number one, I have a list of lenders that you can talk to. You can talk to any of them. And there's a couple things that matter. So number one, your experience matters. If you don't have experience, then you can partner with somebody like Jody. For example, I'm not saying Jody, but if somebody like Jody is like, hey, I will allow you, I will be your credit sponsor. I'll go get the mortgage for you underneath my name, but you're going to run the entire play. I'm going to like babysit it for you. Obviously, I use my credentials to pull it. That's a credit sponsor. You could easily like, so this is why I was asking about your mentor, because I was like, if your mentor is the owner of the project that you're working on, why don't you just ask him to, help you pull money out to do this project? But that's
like
okay.
as a credit sponsor.
As a credit sponsor, right? Because you need somebody who has the experience, because you don't have it as a borrower. You've never borrowed money to then do a flip on your own. You're the guy doing the work, but you've never borrowed. And borrowing is really important because one of the big pain points of borrowing money is every single month, there's usually like an interest only payment that you're making. And so if you're not making those payments every single month, very quickly you can go under, very quickly you can get in trouble. So
he does deal with all the loans. Anytime they do a build, basically they pay like whoever wants the house pays him up, like, and he deals with the banks and does all the building.
Right. So he might have experience that way. Again, he might not be willing to be your credit sponsor. But anyway, so the first thing is experience. You either have it or you don't. If you don't, there are still lenders who will lend to you. They just might be charging you more, right? Or the lenders might not lend to you because you don't have that experience. So either you find somebody with experience, or if they won't take you, you go find another lender. You keep, I call it kissing frogs, but essentially you keep kissing frogs until you find your prince. If somebody tells you no, that doesn't mean that the world says no. It just means that one person says no. Anyway, so one is experience. Number two is the deal. If the deal is good, people are going to want to lend to you, because the whole reason why a lender lends, they want to lend you the most amount of money possible, because the more money they lend you, the more they get to charge you. That's how they make their money. So they want to lend you as much as possible, but the number one job for a lender is to be able to get their money back with interest. So they're going to do it in a safe way, which means they might not give you all the money to do the project, or so they'll only lend you like an 80% portion of it. Hang on. So I'm on a call right now in my car, and there's a Popo Licidades, but I don't think he's after me, but it's freaking me out because I don't do police. Yeah. I hope he's pulling somebody else over, as bad as that seems. I don't know. So what ends up happening is I pull down my visor and I put on the light so that it's shining on my face so you can see me. But anyway,
it looks like you're doing your makeup or something.
It looks like I'm not paying attention to driving. So I'm giving all the signals to like pull me over. And the answer is, please don't pull me over, because this car's registration is a little bit not correct. I don't want to get into details over it. I got to fix it. Blah, blah, blah. So like I'm an Asian woman driving at night with glasses, and then I got this shit on my face. Anyway, don't worry. No more lights.
Nice. That's good.
I'm on a call with 2 Latter-day Saints. You guys better get to praying, because I'm not hanging up. So like send me all the blessings. Anyway, so 1 is experience, 2 is the deal. As long as the deal is good, they're going to be the most aggressive when lending to you, because they know the deal is good, right? So for example, if the house you're buying, you have it under contract for $70,000, but the house right now, like on market, is maybe worth like $150,000, they feel more comfortable giving you the most amount of money possible, because again, in the off chance that you go rogue and you don't
Like
pay them
immediately.
back,
Yeah.
or you don't pay them back for whatever reason, and they got to go through the foreclosure process. Foreclosure process means they're still charging you interest for every day that you don't return the money. They're going to charge you late fees. They're going to charge you attorney fees, and then they're going to charge you foreclosure fees. To get their money back, they might need to sell the property. They don't want to do that. They just want their money. But that's what they're thinking of, is when they lend you money, they got to think of the worst case scenario. What happens if he doesn't give me the money back? How the hell do we have a plan B to get the money back? And that's why they lend the way that they lend. So the two things you need is definitely experience and definitely a great deal. But if you have those two things, then there's no reason why somebody's not going to give you the money.
And do you see the property as a good deal? You know, the 70,000.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't know your neck of the woods, so I don't know. But if you gave me those numbers where you're like, listen, the properties next door is a single family ranch, they're selling for 400. I have a duplex next door. You technically have an income generating property. So the way that I would comp your property is like 400 for the first floor, and then whatever money the second floor is bringing in, I would multiply that by 100. So let's say, like, what do you think the second floor could rent for?
So it's a side-by-side unit, and they're both 3-bedroom. So I have a local property management company I work with. They do about between $750 and $1,000 a bedroom. So he said if you just count on $750 a bedroom, they can get around $2 to $2,250. But they said they would take it over, no questions asked, guarantee the rent for $1,500 each side. So they would be giving me 15. They would be doing the 22.5. But making sure it's always 15. So I have a pretty much you can try to get more, but like a minimum guarantee of 3,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know, which seems safer because they have like over 100 doors. You know, so that's kind of it's like what they do. Yeah.
Going back to the comping, if a single family ranch is selling for about 400, right? So I would say it's about 400 plus what you're able to make. So if you're saying the minimum rent for a 3-bedroom is maybe like 1,500, right? I would multiply 1,500 times 100. I think essentially I'd get 150. So I would add 400 plus 150. That's top tier. That's probably like the max amount of money you could get for that property. But it's a good way that like I budget, or I try to figure out like let's say you house hacked. Right.
So that's the exact value of the house that's next to it that my mom owns. So the duplex next to it that's what the value of it is 540 or something like that, 520, 540.
Then very easy that you probably would be at 525 to 550 within that spectrum, depending upon
this other one would be everything brand new, you know, so that's always nice.
So why is she selling to you for 70,000?
Like I said, she's a family friend. She grew up with my grandmother.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's in bad condition, you know, so it needs all the work. She has cash offers, and she has cash offers at 75 from like flippers, you know, so she said, you know, as long as I can come pretty much what they are, she'd much rather, you know, see the property go with me.
Okay, so you need money to not only do the rehab on it to pay for all the work, but you also need money to purchase the property. Why don't you have her seller finance the deal to you? Why don't you tell her, listen, instead of paying you 75,000, why don't I pay you 90,000? It'll take me about like a year. It should take you a year to finish it, right? Start to finish, and you take time, but it'll take me a year to finish. If you don't need the money, even if she does need the money up front, she probably doesn't need all 90,000. You could say, listen, why don't I give you 5,000 to start? I'll pay you like, I don't know, 2,000 every single month, and within the year I'll pay off the remainder.
So she doesn't need really any of the money up front. It's her brother's property, and he is in a nursing home. The property is under some like random LLC so that the state doesn't know he owns it. So it's not, you know, so he's basically, you know, getting free, you know, healthcare. And not having the state take his assets. But he's you know, he's fine. he can't really take care of himself, but his money is running up, so he's going to be transferred. So like she basically wants money to keep
Take care of
giving the
him.
nursing home to keep him on like the nicer side, basically.
So how much is that?
I would have to find out. He's
That's what I would do.
he's in the same nursing home as my grandmother.
Well, I could say I would find out on that, see what she has to spend, and then see if you can, like Suzanne's saying, 2,000 or whatever that extra is a month that would help them get to there, that person's seller financing in. But whatever you pay them, remember you say that it's towards principal, so there's no interest that you're paying on that.
Yeah, and now and then that would make it easier for me to qualify for a loan, because the loan would be a less amount, and on their end, as far as the bank concerned, I would already own it.
He would still stay on title until you clean him out, but he could be your seller. He would, it depends on what the loan is, which position it has to go. If it has to go in first position, then he would have to be subject to go to second position, but I don't think there'll be an issue with that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can definitely talk to her with that.
At the end of the day, anything is possible, but the more you talk to people, so again, like half the time people are always thinking like, oh, when they have an offer, give them cash, and the answer is like, honestly, nobody needs that much cash. Like, honestly, what is she going to do? Like, go to Aruba, and like, even if she's at Aruba, she can't plow through $90,000. So usually what ends up happening is people have a plan with the money. Just ask them, what are your needs with the money? I think I can do better than $75,000 cash. I think I can actually give you more. And here's a way for me to give you more.
She's just gonna sit on the 70 and then slowly take out like $1,000 a month to give to the nursing home.
Right. And so if technically you can give her $5,000 up front and then pay her $1,000 along the way, that's actually cheaper for you to do that instead of going out and getting a loan to purchase the property. You essentially ask her to loan you the money to purchase the property. And she wants you to have the house. She wants you to have the house anyway. So the other thing to consider, if you're offering her more money, she's more likely to allow you that time to take care of the property. And she knows you're not going to go anywhere. You're next door to her mom, her friend, which is your mom.
Yeah. No, she wanted 100 for the property. So she already wants more, but she has she had it on the MLS. It has been on and off. She's been trying to sell it for 4 years, and she had it on the MLS. I had bid on it, but she had accepted a deal, and then like there was just like a bunch of problems because it's so messed up. Like they wanted inspections on it, and she just kind of got like, she fired the real estate agent and was like, no, I don't want any of this. I'm gonna try to sell it myself.
How much was the property, Nate? How much was the property when she listed it on MLS?
It was for 100.
Okay, so if it was 100 and she was paying her agent 5% on the front end and back end, that's 5,000 off. So right there, she's only maybe walking away with 95,000.
Yep.
My point being is you don't have to offer her the full 100,000, but at a minimum, if you can do better than 75, I think she'd be willing to talk to you about it. So anyway, go back. And there, again, those two things that need to happen is one, experience, and two, the deal, if the deal is good. Obviously, she knows the house because she's lived in it. Obviously, she's been trying to sell it. Obviously, she knows she can get out at 75,000. Well, there's nothing stopping her from giving you the opportunity to try to fix up the property and get more money for it if you're going to offer her more than 75,000.
Oh yeah, well, because then at minimal, it's easier for her to sell, even if I fail. Then she has at least a cleaned out and gutted property. Yeah,
and on top of it, you maybe gave her money along the way, like monthly payments. You might have put in a down payment with her too, so she's going to be well ahead of it. Having you even attempt and fail, if that's what it ends up being, which obviously we're not hoping.
No, and the guy who is bidding on it will take it whenever.
Right. So that's always a backup, is that at a minimum for 75,000.
Yeah, and he would love to take it because he doesn't like me. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll tell you is within the group that I have, so I have that group Creative Elite. There's a resource file that you can fill out and submit people. But on top of it, there's quite a few lenders in there. So what I'll do is after the call is over, I'll make sure to add you to the group and then use the resources. Use the resources, use people. At a minimum, I ask for three things. I ask that you have integrity, means you don't steal, don't be an a-hole. Okay. Number two is that you have excellence. At the end of the day, I want you to try to be great. I don't care if you're not great now. I care that you're trying to be better than you are today. And the last thing I ask for is innovation. Because at the end of the day, cookie cutter solutions are not for everybody. And so I need you to stretch your mind and try to, understand other people and what they need. And that's where the innovative part comes from. I need you to, again, like her, she doesn't need the money now. She actually wants more money, and you need money to do the house anyway. So together you can help each other, but you need to stretch your mind and get there.
Yeah, perfect. I like it.
Okay. The other reason so these calls I have every Tuesday is for us to get together and talk about what we're currently working on, within the last week. What were some of the good things that happened? What were some of the bad things that happened? And then at the end, I like to ask everybody, what are they planning on accomplishing the upcoming week? And the whole goal of doing that is literally just for accountability. Because if you tell me this week, Suzanne, I'm going to call all 10 of your lenders and get an answer from them, then next week when I see you, I'm going to ask you, did you do it? Right? Because it's very easy to not do stuff because you can just go back to homeschooling your 3 kids and, taking care of your wife and your normal 9-to-5 job. And then everything slips out from underneath you. So
yeah.
this
very, very
this
easily.
So this is all it is us talking about what did you do this past week, celebrating the wins, but also learning from your lessons, and then talking about what you have upcoming this week. And hopefully by you talking about what you got going on, can you figure out what you're going to do differently, or people like us can help you get there better.
Yeah, so I know for this week I'm gonna be reaching out to more and more lenders instead of just the one. We've been trying to deal with lenders that we know through my wife's salon, so they're just like customers or real estate customers that have lender friends. And
that's not bad, because one of the things that I told you when you first asked me for private money is I was like, dude, you need to use your network, because the people that know your wife, the people that know you, they're going to feel more comfortable lending to you because they know you.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple of things. You're going to join Creative Elite. I want you to find the lenders page. I want you to call through all of them. And then the other one I want you to do is I want you to go back to the seller and have a conversation with them about, is there a way for me to give you more money and for you to be my lender on the project? I can pay you about $20,000 more than the next guy. I just need about a year's worth of time. But in the meantime, I can give you all the money that you need today. If you need money today, if you need money every single month, I think we can find a way for me to meet your needs all along the way and pay you $20,000 more than the next person.
Yeah. So my question is specifically, how do I pull out, like, how would I pay her out at the end? Is it when I refinance the property after it's done, or?
Right. So if you keep the property, then you're going to put a new mortgage on it. You just originate a loan on it. Whether you are the buyer or you sell it to somebody else who is the buyer, at the end of the day, there's somebody who's going to be a buyer on it. And it's probably going to be you, because you're passing it from yourself. You're not even passing it. You're keeping it, but you're generating a new loan. A new standard residential loan is what you're going to be generating on it.
Yeah.
So yes.
And now, would I do that through the same lender, or would it be easier to do it because it has 25% built-in equity?
Right. So the same lender, if your seller is so some lenders do offer, some lenders are brokers. And a broker is a person that works with like 200 lenders.
Yep.
And so the broker can essentially matchmake you. They can matchmake you with the bridge loan. And then once your bridge loan is done, they can roll it into a standard, like whatever loan that's out there. And so I I have those people. Like the first person that comes to mind is this guy named Matt Fitzgerald. He's Southern New Hampshire, Massachusetts, so he should be able to take care of you. And again, he wants to give you another loan because every time they originate a loan, they get fees up front, and the fees are how they make their money.
Right.
The original,
and then I assume the second loan is less for them to worry about because it's a finished product, so they're like
there is no, so the second loan, okay, so the loan that you get when the property is finished, again, they want to originate all your loans. They want to lend you all the money possible, but their number one concern is, how do I get my money back with interest? So that's the only piece that they're going to be a little bit conservative, is not giving you everything. But they're going to, as long as the deal is good, they'll originate the first loan and they'll originate the second loan for you. There's no reason why they wouldn't, because again, they get paid to do that and they want to get paid.
Yeah. Would they want me to have it rented, or does that not matter? Like,
it's going to matter depending upon what your lender is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because they said the property manager guys said they usually need like a month or two. But they said like if we're under construction and like we've got like the floors in and the wall painted, they're like, just let us come in and take pictures and start listing it before it's even done.
So even once you finish the house on the back end, your property managers can probably introduce you to different lenders that are out there, because their whole job is to make sure that the place is rented to then cover all the expenses. The biggest expense usually being the loan on the property.
Yeah, so I tried with them because I actually I'm personal friends with them. He basically told me that he's having a problem with his lenders because he's kind of tapped out because he's kind of growing so fast, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a marching order, all the lenders, a conversation with the seller. And then, you can talk to your property manager. I wouldn't talk to them just yet unless there's a bridge lender, unless there's some sort of person who's going to give you money to fix up the property. And at the end of the day, like, one of my favorite guys out there, his name is Brent Daniels. He has this program called TTP, which is Talk to People. That's all you're doing. You're talking to me, you're talking to Jody. You're going to go talk to, your wife and all the people that she knows. So just keep talking about what you're doing. You don't know where the money's going to come from, but I promise you that if you keep talking about it, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Look for people in the church. Look for people in the church too. They might be willing to help you.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, kind of not liked to do that, but I guess I could try a few people.
It doesn't hurt to ask. All they can do is say no.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you never know. You never know who's sitting on a bunch of money and wants to be a bank.
Right. Yep.
Jody, do you do anything with anyone from your church?
I don't.
Why not?
Same reason.
my partner's from the church, but I mean, I didn't meet him from the church to do it. It's
right, just happened to be.
He's happened to be a member. I mean, in Utah, it's kind of almost obvious.
Yeah, not in Massachusetts.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, but it just, I don't know. I've had kids that I've put to work for me in my youth in my ward.
Yep.
And I've been with the youth for 30 years. They finally released me. I was like, whatever, he's releasing the wrong person. But I've had parents come back and chew me out because of this and this and this. Because technically I wasn't paying them what was fair. And I'm like, your kid is not working what he's worth.
Yeah.
And so parents would chew me out and complain and wah. And then that one parent, the kid came back years later and goes, sorry, my mom was a pain in the ass, but you did teach me a lot, even though I went through a lot and I had listened to my mom and not realized that what you were teaching me was correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why is anymore I won't hire people from my church. I mean, if they're members, fine, but not for my ward, just because I've had too many people screw me over.
Yeah, too messy.
Yeah.
But Jody, those were all like kids that you were hiring. I'm
You know,
talking about someone on your level and up. Like, what do you have any peers in your church that you could be friends with or
not
connect with?
not in my. I'm in a Spanish ward. Remember?
Oh, I didn't
So
know.
yeah, I go to a Spanish speaking ward, and so I am. No one knows it in my ward, but I'm the top dog in the ward. You know, I might no one in my ward would know that I am the top dog, but I am.
Yeah,
There's
that's good. That's good.
there's nobody in my ward. I would say the highest paid person in my ward is maybe $60,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Oh my God.
I only make 65, you know, but
Listen, Jody, they know because they're working on your house, or like they have
no, they don't.
cousins and brothers and in-laws that know your house, bro. If
No,
anyone saw your
no,
house, I'd be like, yeah, he's not making
no,
65.
no one in my ward knows where I. Some of my youth know where I live, what I'm working on, but nobody in my ward knows where I'm moving to. Nobody.
Nate,
And,
Jody's new house is like a 20-car garage, and then
no, not that
a
bad.
house,
One of the barn
a
dominiums.
house, a house proportional to it. It's
Yeah.
insane, and he has beautiful, beautiful views of like what
Too
even is that the Grand Canyon, or what is that a view of? The mountains?
It's just the mountains here. Here, I'll show you, Nate. I go into my. I'm actually at the
Oh,
house right now. We're
he's sitting
laying
there right
tile.
now in the work truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still light time out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 2 hours behind you guys. This is the house, and that stucco we
Yep. You get
stamped
the
on. We
veneer brick.
stamped that on ourselves.
Oh, that's not veneer. That's you made that. You
Oh
stamped
hell
stucco.
no, that's concrete.
Oh, that's cool shit, man. Nice. Yeah. Usually nowadays you get everybody just doing the veneers.
Oh no, I do the real. It's my own house. I do the real stuff. Here, I'll show you a
Yeah.
broken off piece of concrete so you can
Well,
actually.
it's
It's got
good because then you're not getting that separation where you're gonna get like all the moisture behind the veneers and up against your wall.
See, they broke one on me.
Oh, yep. That's nice.
Here you go. Suzanne got to walk through. Oh, here, you want to see what we're doing right now?
She rocking, man. He's rocking. That's what he's doing. He's got the guys in there protecting the floor. Nope. He underlay him down. That's very nice.
There's always like 10 people working full time, no matter what time I call him. And think about it, it's 7 o'clock at night. He still has like what, 5 people working?
Is it 7 o'clock
Crazy.
over there? What time is it over there?
Yeah, 7
Yeah,
o'clock.
7 o'clock. God damn, man. You should tell those guys they need to go home, bro. Put the kids to bed.
No, this guy comes and he works. The guy over there in the blue shirt, he works laying tile, and we found him and said, hey, do you want to come and work? So he'll work. We'll work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then so I'm paying my guys overtime.
Jeez.
This is the house. It's 12,000 square feet. This is a kid play area.
12,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
You know, and this has all automated home.
What's the what do you do? What do you got to do for insulation out there?
Here's your insulation.
Spray foam. Yeah.
Hey, see, he knows
Whatever,
the stuff.
whatever
Yeah,
it was, he
that's gonna be our
did like
generation's
3
asbestos.
times what you're supposed to do.
So there's 8 inches there and there's 4 inches there. So I have about an R72, 74.
So we actually in Massachusetts right now we need 9.5 inches of closed cell in the ceilings, roof,
Oh,
and
really?
we need 4.5 in the walls.
We only need an R30.
Yeah, we got to
They
go
don't,
crazy out here.
this you don't even, this you don't find this very often.
That's literally what we do. That's the minimum. That's the minimum
Wow.
standard.
There's your view.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh, and standing seam, man, very nice.
Oh, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, very nice. That's nice.
And so that's facing east.
Are you doing stucco everywhere, or are you doing some kind of like?
Oh no, it took us 3.5 months.
Yeah.
6,000 square feet. Yeah, they don't. None of this is required. I learned how to do spray foam here.
Yeah,
I
I do
bought
spray foam. It just sucks, you know. I don't know. I would rather have the cellulose, but you would need, you know, you need 18 inches of it. I have 18 inches in my house of cellulose,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
also,
I I love this. Has radiant heat in it. The whole house has radiant heat to it. That's all radiant heat system. You can
yeah,
see it.
yeah, your switchboards.
Yeah, that's my switchboards. 2 furnaces.
What's the weather like out there? Is it you get winter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We can not here. We haven't hit 40 below, but where I'm from, we've hit 40 below.
Holy shit! All right, so yeah, y'all get winter, so you're gonna be loving that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
That's crazy that you guys get rougher winters than we do, but your energy code's fucking more relaxed.
yeah.
No,
That's
ours is
looking
overkill. It's ridiculous, man. The house we're building right now, the lady when it's done, she farts in it, she's gonna be smelling that fart for a month.
Oh, it has an ERV system to it too.
Yeah, yeah, you have to now in ours. You have to have the energy recovery.
Oh no, not here.
Yeah, I mean, we silicone every seam, every bottom plate, like everything gets
Oh
seamed up.
yeah.
We do the air test. We shoot for 0, but we usually get like, 12, 14.
They don't force that here. I haven't done an air test, but with the spray foam, I've sprayed all the because
Mhm.
even see my walls that go outside, they're
Yeah,
all sprayed in too. So
yeah,
I've sprayed the whole house. And then like I say, my ERV, here's my exit duct. I haven't got this all hooked up yet, but there's my exit duct. And then I have an entrance duct over there that's coming in. I haven't gone through the roof anywhere in this house.
that's awesome. That's
My
really good.
plumber's like, we're gonna go through the roof. I said, the hell we are.
Fuck you are, man. Go through the soffit, go through the walls.
Yeah, I went through the wall. I said, I just
Yeah,
gotta run plumbing a little bit further. Who cares?
yeah.
He's
No,
like, we're going through the
we
roof. I was
have
like, oh,
we have like 2 vents in the house we're building that go through the roof because we had to, but all the ERVs and all that stuff are going through the walls. It's just like a little bit of an eyesore, but it's so much like the hole is so big. Like, do you really want like this industrial hood on your house? Look at all that joint
Nate,
compound. These guys are ready, man. They do hot mixes, hot mixes, hot mixes. Look at that.
Nate, how much is like an ERV system for like a 3 bedroom, like the 3 bedroom duplex thing that you're doing, right? Like for one unit, how much would an ERV system cost?
I could get price on that for tomorrow. I'd have to look up what we paid on the house that we're in right now.
So I ended up doing the last flip I did was in Haverhill, and they gave me a $10,000 rebate if I did an ERV, but I didn't do it. And I didn't do it because I didn't think I needed it until the end.
Yeah,
And then
it would
there
be
was like,
way less than 10,000 right off the bat. I could tell you that.
yeah, but
I'm
I
not
the thing is,
into it that much.
Yeah.
say it again.
I'm not into it that much, and I have 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the unit itself is probably like a couple grand, and then, it's just work and ducting.
Yeah.
And then you got to get someone to sign off on it, which is, another, grand, but yeah.
Problem I had is when I did any ductwork that I did. So the last house I did ductwork with, I had 2 zones. So I ran like all the ductwork in the basement and then all the ductwork in the attic because I like hidden heat and hidden cooling. The ductwork was insane. I think the first quote I got was like 20,000, and I was like, "Why is it so expensive?"
Yeah, to get
They're
actual
like,
tin knockers in there is insane. Yeah.
it was
Oh,
crazy.
we did all ours by ourselves.
Yeah, if you can get someone who will just sign off on it and you'll do the labor, because
Yeah.
it's really not that hard, to run the duct, to
Right.
do the load calculations and stuff like that,
Yeah.
is something else, but you can run ducting.
Yeah.
No, we had a guy that I paid a guy, same thing like this tile guy. My guys work next to him and he kind of directs them what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
Like,
I
yeah, I
had a
mean,
guy.
there's a lot of old, like seasoned tradesmen that just can't break their back anymore. And,
Yeah.
you know, because of that, they're getting more flexible with how they work. Like, you know, 10, 15 years ago, you try to get someone like that, they tell you to kick rocks, you know, give me the whole job
Yeah.
or nothing. But
Right.
now it's a whole different ball game.
So this has I've designed it to where I could build 4 apartments. In fact, there's another EDU unit that'll go from that white trailer right there over to that white box.
Oh, nice.
1,600 square foot with an ADU unit above it. I've already plumbing, electrical, water, gas, and sewer and everything's already all ready to go. I just have to hook up to it. So this is my daughter's moving into my house. So this is her 2-bedroom apartment that's above my garage. That's a kitchen area. I used an ICCF to build this house with. There's no stick frame on the whole thing.
Oh,
So
that's crazy. I've never done that.
I wouldn't go back to stick if they asked me.
That's great. Isn't it? It's a lot more expensive though, isn't it not? Or
No,
no?
no, I had a quote. I had a wood package quote for $80,000 for two stories,
Yeah,
not
and that's
counting the
just the
base.
framing, right?
That's just the wood.
Yeah, you got to do it. Yeah.
The block package with concrete, no labor, just materials, 110.
Shut up. That's not that much of a
And that's
difference.
and that's 3 stories.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So this house is all, they say here's the master. It's huge.
I mean, that's nice. That's nice. I've never worked with it. I am a stick framer, but that
It's
is
right
nice.
here.
Our next project that we're doing actually is gonna be in Vermont. It's gonna be like an A-frame up on Mount Snow. It's gonna be these pre-built like corrugated metal walls where it's like metal siding on the
Wow.
outside and insulated. Then you just kind of like they're calling them like block building. You just like put it together like Legos.
Yeah. So you just use that little foam right there is what we sealed everything. And then if it's crooked, you put shims in here and you just glue it
That's
under
awesome.
and you just pour it.
Yeah.
So that's what that whole wall is. We took a planer to make this smooth so we could and then we just stick the sheetrock to it.
Boom.
Any,
Yep.
any, any,
You use an
any,
adhesive or furring strips or something?
no, no, just adhesive right directly to it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Then there's your electrical, you just run it and it has a conduit that I put it in.
I've seen them cut. It looks very satisfying to cut out for like all your conduits and your wires
Yeah,
and stuff.
yep, yep. And I'll walk you out to the block, but this is my extra. My wife didn't like where the stairs were, so we changed the stairs, and this is kind of like an apartment stairs on it now.
No, yeah,
It's
it's a lot
all
easier.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
if I ever want to
we're
put in,
doing more and more of that kind of stuff. A lot of the people we're building for are we call them, they're building their tombs. You know, they start building
yeah,
them and they're like, oh, I want everything wheelchair accessible, like no thresholds. And you're just like, all right, so
this,
you're building a tomb at this point.
yeah, this right here, I can convert it to the door, and then this can be my other apartment down here. So
Nice.
you could come through that door, then it's here, and then you'd have 4 bedrooms down here. It'll be dark down here because we're hanging the rock in here right now, but we sprayed every floor here has been sprayed with foam in the roof.
Oh, even
And
in
then
between the floors. Oh, nice.
in between the floors because of my radiant heat, I want to force everything
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Sure. So how much did you spend on just the material for the installation? Like $40,000, dude.
With the machine, 75. I put 1,800 gallons of. Here's my machine right here.
Yeah. So did you buy one for this?
Yeah, I went and bought it. Why not? Guy
Yeah,
quoted me
exactly.
$50,000. Here's my
Yeah.
machine here.
Heck yeah, man.
So
Not
I
even
bought
in a
this.
trailer. It's just been sitting here.
It's sitting here. Yeah, I'll probably put it in a truck or a trailer, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. Most of these guys usually have them on the trailer outside. You're like, nah, this thing's an at-home kit. It sits in the house.
Yeah, well, I've still got to spray this room in here. I haven't finished this. I'm going to spray the roof here and the walls, but yeah, this is over my deck.
Heck yeah,
And
dude.
then
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know anything about you, but I'll tell you, you deserve it, man. You've been putting in work right there alone.
We'll spray all the interior walls here. I'll put one side of the sheetrock. Every floor, interior walls that could cause noise to go into the room is all sealed off with foam too.
Yeah. Yeah, a
So
lot. We'll be doing a lot of staggered studs nowadays. We'll a lot of people like
yeah,
that.
well, my wife wanted to put rock wool in, and she says, "Well, let's just buy rock wool and we'll create the sound." I was like,
Yeah.
"My hell, I have a machine sitting here, and it's going to take me a little bit more to do." I was like, "Piss on it." So there's that, and then this is my dungeon. So this is the garage. I have solid above garage. So I'm sitting. This is where my garage is, and then I have these beams hold it.
We can tell. We can tell you're in the dungeon
How
because you're
most
breaking
people
up.
don't. Never mind. Then I'll get out of here.
Yeah, I'm in the dungeon.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Now this is my exit. I can't go out that door, so I have to go the other way. But this is my other. This is 6 foot wide. That's how I build stuff because I've moved so many damn times. But that goes to the one I showed you going down. So this all runs together.
You said those are 6 foot wide stairs.
Those are 6 foot wide stairs right there. Yeah.
Oh man, that must be nice.
I've moved too many damn times in my life.
Yeah, why not? You know, it really don't add much more to the cost.
No.
Hey, Nate, can I
Yep.
ask what company do you work for?
So the name is Kashima Builders. They're out of Greenfield, Massachusetts. He's got a pretty decent website. It needs to be updated. You can check out some of the stuff. Everything in the photos from the website is like 15 years ago. He
Wow.
hasn't put anything up in the past like 10 years, but he needs a website guy.
Is this the guy that you consider your mentor?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What's his name?
Toshi?
Toshi?
Yeah, I can send you a message so you'll have
Yeah.
like his company name so you can Google him.
The other thing I wanted to say is she just did the Inn at Mount Snow. So if you are going up to if you guys are doing work at Mount Snow, she's a licensed GC and then like big time investor out there. She's super impressive.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we got the homeowner actually to pull the permit. Just because we have a pretty extensive portfolio, so people are pretty comfortable with hiring us.
Yeah.
So yeah, the homeowner is pulling the permit on that one. But they're actually
No. Yes, but what I'm saying
yeah.
is you're going to want to know her, period,
Oh
because
yeah.
she works in your neighborhood. She's a licensed GC. She can throw down with you about like best practices. And then the recent project she's been doing, she's been buying a lot of like, so she just bought a 32 door like inn. That's her next project, and she
Oh
just
wow.
finished. I forget what the name of the place was before they bought it and took it over, but the new name is I think it's like the Inn at Mount Snow. So they just rebranded it. I don't know what the old name used to be, but she went through the entire thing on that
Oh
one.
wow.
So
So she's a big player up there then.
she's ginormous, yeah. And
Yeah.
she's in sub two. We have like a lot of mutual friends together. But again, if you're up there in Mount Snow, it'd be good for you guys to like just say hi to each other at a
Yeah,
minimum.
we're gonna be starting that project. So we have this house in Hadley that we have to finish, and then we have the Lego build one in Gill, which is another town around here. And then the Mount Snow is after that.
I would tell you, just talk to her even about your deal, the $70,000 deal, because this girl has money all over the place. She's very good about getting money. She's very good about like getting great rates on her stuff because she does such a high volume amount at this point.
Yeah, well, and if she's a builder, she'll understand. She'll like she could be like, okay, I'll give you money now, and then once you have it gutted and ready for sheetrockers, and then I'll give you more money.
Yeah,
There's
so
your
in all
block.
honesty,
There's your block.
Yeah.
she might be your credit sponsor. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I just know at a minimum, Mount Snow, she's Mount Snow, you're Mount Snow. You guys should know each other at a minimum. And then again,
Yeah.
the whole thing is just talking to people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, minimally, she'll see what we're doing up there because the people we're building it for, it's gonna be like an Airbnb resort type thing that they want. They're from New York, and it's like their vacation home.
Very cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, Jody,
Yeah.
since you're on the phone, what did you end up doing this past week?
put out fires.
Put out fires. But tell me more. Like, what did you accomplish this past week? How did you spend your time? Are you happy the way that you spent your time this last week?
I don't check it, but like my guys, I was frustrated that I got to work with them, kind of have a meeting and say, look, we need to plan ahead and know when stuff's coming and not just say, hey, I need this now. But,
Yeah.
because my tile guy started on Saturday and then he's like, oh, I need a tile saw that'll cut these big ones. So yesterday I was just scrambling to try to find, I found one today, but
Yeah, that's
I
not fun,
didn't
man.
know. And then he says, well, I need a laser. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me you needed that laser? I had another laser, but there was no communication of, hey, this laser's not going to work because I have a laser for my dirt stuff.
Well, and
And so,
tools nowadays are not easy to come by like they used to be. You got to order
no.
everything now.
Well, and I was blessed that I found this big table saw at a pawn shop. So I was able to go pick that one up. But it's, I just started hunting for it, but it's still, so that's my frustration there is they need to communicate with me more so I can make sure everything's in line. But what I got done, I got my sheetrock. We finished spraying. Today's Monday. Did we spray? I think we sprayed last week. So I got to hang my sheetrock in the basements all hang on the roof. Now we're gonna do the walls and then spray the walls. So
Your
it's
guys
just
spray the mud or just
the insulation we spray.
no? Our sheetrock guys, they actually spray the mud on the walls too.
For the texture.
No, for everything. Like for doing their seams, like they'll spray the mud and then they'll put the tape on.
Oh, I just have they have bazookas is what they're called. They're just a gun that
Oh,
they have.
I've seen those. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't spray. They put on. They just textured that upper where all that mud box was. They said, "Oh, we need 30 of these." So I made sure they had all that, and they textured, and so I'm all ready. It'll dry tomorrow. They'll sand a little bit, then I'll start painting up there. But to say if I got everything, I don't know. I don't have a goal set of what I'm supposed to get done. I just keep plugging away and keep moving at it.
And that's all right, man. That's the way to do it.
Jody, what about you checking in with so I feel like that's like the number one thing with any sort of like project manager contractor is like not knowing what you guys do every single day, and like communication with men is just like a not happening kind of thing.
Yeah,
It doesn't
we babysit. We babysit grown men. That's what we do.
Yeah, I don't, bro. I think about it all the time where I'm like, this is the number one thing that I do, and it's not my favorite thing. But so I used to check in with my GC every single day. Every single day I used to be on site first thing in the morning. I would go run him whatever he needed to be run. But that was the way that I did it, just to have a pulse on things. And then again, reiterate to them, like, listen, if you're going to start like tile in 3 days, I need you to put together what you need for a list, because I order everything from Lowe's and I have it delivered on site. That way he doesn't have to pay for it, and that way he doesn't have to pick it up.
Yeah, that's nice. I can tell you as the workers, when the homeowners are on site a lot, it can be annoying, but it also is very helpful because any question just gets dealt with. There's no like chasing shit down. You have a question, it's answered the next day because they're there.
Right. But if Jody's biggest like hairy problem this last week was, going down these rabbit holes of like quests, trying to find
Yeah.
a tile saw at a pawn shop. I don't even know how you pulled that off. That's pretty genius, going to a pawn shop and
Yeah, I
finding
never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah,
Facebook
the only way he can avoid that is just by making more time for himself to just like preemptively babysit, and that's no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like I say, they were on Marketplace. In fact, I even got $200 off because they had it posted somewhere else for $200 cheaper. I
Nice.
go to them and they go, okay, yeah, we can match that. So yeah.
Jody, going forward this next week, is there anything that you're going to do different to try to like bring a little bit more joy to yourself? Less pain, more joy?
Yeah, my joy is I'm getting my boat fixed that it's been down for 11 years.
Oh my gosh.
How are you
I,
getting
I,
that
took,
done?
I took it in 2 Fridays ago. Come to find out, some jerk stole my steering wheel and cut all my wires in the back of the boat where it goes. I needed a new motor, so I go from $20,000 investment to now almost a 30,000 by the time we're done. But it hopefully it'll be done. I don't know if this week or next week, but that's where my joy's coming. Is in 2 weeks I'm gonna post on my Instagram. It is a miracle. This boat finally gets to get back out on the water.
Are you doing the work or you're just taking
Oh,
the boat in
I,
to get service?
I'm paying somebody. No, no. This house. I told you my payment's $10,000 a month. I'm gonna get this done as soon as I can. But yeah. So I have
Good.
my mission companion is taking a group of youth in the ward to Lake Powell, our big lake down here. If you Lake Powell has more shoreline than the West Coast, the whole West Coast. It's
Wow.
huge. It's 165 or 175 miles if you drive it straight, but it's not straight. So it's a big lake. And that's where I love to go. I haven't been to Lake Powell. I've been there, but I haven't been with my boat in more than 11 years. People keep inviting me. I says, "No, I ain't going to Powell till my boat's ready." And I could tell you a huge story. I've had problems with this boat for past 11 years of problems and people I've paid that screwed me over. And so that's my happy place is I'm getting that done and getting this house done.
What's the name of your boat?
There's no name. There's no name on my boat.
Not till she's done.
Yeah, it's not. There's no name. I've had it. I I bought it several years ago and just used it, and I love it. My kids want me to go dump another 100 to 250 is a brand new wakeboard boat, but I'm happy with mine.
Good.
So that's my joy is where every day this moves forward is a joy to. I'm happy to see they're laying more tile today, and I'll see by the end of the week how much we get done. But we're getting because the tiles are so big, we're getting a lot done fast. So
That's nice. Yeah, it looks good.
Good. Happy for you. Nathan, so this last week, what did you accomplish this last week?
I actually I would have to say I opened my mind on financing options.
Good. How'd you do that?
Matt. It wasn't even me. I've just been kind of talking to him for the past year and a half, and I hit him with my problem, and he almost immediately hits me with one or two solutions. So he's kind of been great on that end.
How'd you end up meeting? So Keith, just so you know, Nathan is located over in Western Massachusetts. He's in the trade and he can do work. He wants to buy 70,000, put in about 170,000, and on the back end, it looks like it can be worth anywhere from 525 to 550. And it's right next door to his mom's house. It's a duplex, and then the owner is like a church friend of his and is willing to give him time to get the money together to buy the property so that it kind of stays in the family as much as possible. And so the person he's been talking to help is Matt Slowick. And then Nate, you don't know this, but Matt Slowick and I think I told you we adopted dogs together. So our sons are related.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So the question I have is how did you meet Matt Slowick?
It was through Sub 2. I think it was a meeting call, and someone suggested, they were like, "Hey, you know what? This is another guy that's out in your area," and
Yeah.
we kind of just reached out, and he's just a really nice, like, talkable guy. He's normal,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Good.
we've
I love
we've
it.
we've
So
been we've been making plans to get together and like have dinner, and it just hasn't like worked out. But it'll happen one of these times. I'll get him out this way.
good. And then this upcoming week, you're working on. So we're add you to Creative Elite. You're gonna talk to every single lender. You're
Yep.
gonna talk to all your wife's people, her network.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then the homeowner as well, to try to get her to be open to accepting more money.
not even that, but maybe the goal should be figuring out exactly what your seller's needs are.
Mhm.
That way you can meet them exactly.
Right. Yeah. Like, you know, she's not going to need all of the money immediately to go to Bermuda, but, you know, definitely
Right.
what she needs to keep her brother comfortable.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they talk about like meeting needs, there's like 3 levels to it. It's like, first is what do you need? Absolutely, absolutely need. The second part are the wants. And
Yeah.
at a
Like, what
minimum,
would you be happy with, you know? Yeah.
right, well, you have to be moving through those stages. At a minimum, you have to meet your seller's needs. If you do not meet your seller's needs, like they're going to be pissed. Not even if you gave them all the things that they want, it doesn't matter, because if you cannot take care of their needs, they're not going to fundamentally be happy with you. So
Mhm.
first you identify the needs and take care of them. The second one is you can identify some wants, and if there's space to allow for that. And then the third thing is the wishes. You know, in a fantasy world, what would be the most spectacular thing? And if you can accomplish that, then that's the cherry on top. But you have to move through that sequence of, without question, identify all the needs first and make sure that you can meet them before you start to exceed things on them.
Yeah. So I already know what her cherry on top is. If she could get her brother back in that property till the day he dies, that would
Yeah.
be, yeah. I mean, he wants it, she wants it, but, you know, she knows that there's no, you know, he ran out of his money. So, you know.
On top of that, the property needs to be fixed up before he can come back, right?
Oh, an insane amount. Yeah, it's not livable.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're on your way. Somebody
Yeah.
fixing it up, she's on her way. So I love that. And then Keith Lyons, talk to me. What did you end up accomplishing this week?
Finally getting out of Searsport.
What was Searsport?
That earthwork job I've been doing. Just been a pain, just trying to finishing sucks.
What was the project altogether? Was it concrete or it was like an investment opportunity?
Oh, no, it was a sewer treatment plant I did for GC Apex. That's all they do. They do a lot of treatment plants, sewer treatment plants. That's my forte. I've been doing treatment plants and water plants for 35 years, you know. I like laying big pipe, but
So
I find
Keith Lyons is located over in Maine, Bangor, Maine. And then
Okay. Yep.
for years, he's just been laying big pipe, according to
Yeah.
him.
I've got family up in Portland.
And then on top of it, he has a lot of people that he works with that do kind of like large complexes, large whatever buildings. And so slowly but surely, he's been working his way up to essentially being like them.
Like a developer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So
you know, if you got the time and you got the heavy equipment and you can sit back and wait for 10 years, then I've seen people make a lot of money developing farmland into, you know, little communities.
no. We build roads, lad. We just go in and build roads. Just one of my investor buddies, we're putting out this year will be the second year, and we'll have 120 units straight done. Plus, we did another 26 units, another road we built. I mean, that's what we do. You know what I mean? That's what we do.
Yeah.
I just like to start doing it for myself. I help all the guys do it. You know, I take care of all the, you know, just all the engineers and stuff come to see me. I do all the grading, everything for the roads, you know, piping, whatever we gotta do. You know, dig foundations, whatever, you know, been doing it a long time. But I gotta start doing it for myself. What I gotta start doing.
I mean, that's the exact same mindset that I'm in. You know, I've been in the trades doing it for other people forever. But, you know, we might as well use our skills to make the most we can for ourselves.
Yeah, I gotta, one of my fourplexes I bought, get 27 acres of land. I'm gonna build a little road in there. Start putting some four units up.
Yeah. I mean, there's more and more people every year. They're going to start spreading out. So
Yeah,
rural places are going to become populated, you know,
yeah, they are.
that's the way it's going to go, you know?
Yeah.
So Keith, apart from the big sewer project that you just did, what else this week did you end up doing? Doing, not doing, so your highlights and your lowlights. What were the good things that happened? What were some challenges you worked through this week?
Oh, just keeping the guys going, just if I'm not around, I know what Jody goes through. They just tell you, oh, they'll call you up for them. They can't even call you the night before. They got to call you that morning. You talk to them. Oh, geez, well, I need, it's like, it's just stupid. Some guys, they just don't, I don't know, just got to babysit them, but that's awful hard when I'm an hour and a half away. It's awful hard to do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So,
couldn't imagine. I babysit and I get there 30 minutes before them and it's still trouble.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
baby,
I got
babysitting.
I was gonna say, I got your email you sent me. We got to talk. I don't know kind of what to do with how to get a hold of people.
You just email them back. That's it, because you're on a big email. So I finished a project. My brother and sister had lent money, and then Keith said he needed money for like just a month. So I introduced him to my brother and sister. If you need money, just email them back. They might not. So they both worked full-time jobs. Like my sister, I don't know what she does. Like I'm a bad sister. I don't know her job, but like she works for a startup company, because you're just like, I think she does things. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, some people's jobs are real vague. Yeah.
Like all the time where you're like, I don't know, he's a mass murderer. Like
she does too many
like,
things. Yeah.
They're like, what does your dad do? And I'm like, I don't know. He works for the Navy. Yeah, but what does he do? Like, I don't know. He's a scientist. Come to find out, he does like sonar equipment for like missiles and shit. Like nobody wants to know that. Like he's just a scientist. Like let it be. Anyway, my sister, no idea what she does. I think she's a project manager. It's a startup company in California. Every day is just chaos. So that's her. And then my brother does horticulture. So he was a horticulture major in school. He runs like a couple of like San Francisco gardens and national parks. He's in charge of them. But like his main thing is like employees are like, on drugs, high at the job.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got all the gardeners.
So all the gardeners he's in charge of. He's in charge of the money, the budget, getting more money, planning things. I think he runs about like 3 or 4 parks that he runs. I forgot the name of his title. And then outside of work, so he goes to work, I want to say like early in the morning, gets done at like 2:00. And then he's a hustler because he wants to buy his own, personal property. And then in San Francisco, it's like you think a shithole like piece of land with like a tear down in San Francisco is easily $1 million. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah.
After work, he goes and he works side jobs to go make more money. And then he comes home at 6, cooks dinner, eats like, I don't know, like 3 pounds of like meat, and then passes out and then goes to work the next day. So if you want
crazy.
If you want money, Keith, talk to them. Tell them this is what I need. But like, if you're the person who needs money, be a little bit proactive with them. They're great lenders. They never bother me. They forget that they even give me money. But they're like, here's money. And then when you give it back, they're very happy to get their money back plus interest. So just talk to them about what you're trying to do. They both sent me a message. They're like, what's up with the email that you sent? Do you know this guy? And I'm like, of course I know Keith. Let him talk to you about what he's doing. Just hear him out. Talk to me like when it comes back, and if you have questions, you obviously talk to Keith, and if you have questions for me, talk to me too. But it's very simple. I gave you the form that I use for myself. Not only is it a promissory note, but it also has a personal guarantee. I paid for that document from somebody who is licensed in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I don't think they're licensed in Maine, but if you want to generate that document, but that's the document we've been using. So they're happy with that. That's how they know to lend money.
Yeah, no, okay, I will. I just wasn't sure. I never done it that way. I was kind of waiting for a text, for a phone call, a phone number or something. It's like, I will.
I can introduce you by text message too. My brother is terrible at text messaging. He's a guy.
That email is fine. I just I've been meaning to get, I was gonna call you and I just keep forgetting, busy, so.
No, I'll put you on a text if that's easier, but like, just talk to each other. Tell
Yeah.
them, you know, this is what I'm spending money on. Now that they've done a couple deals, they're more like interested to know like what we're doing. So like I would, you know, my brother's like, so what's the next deal? And then I
Yeah.
gotta sell one. But just tell them what you're doing. But again, at the end of the day, a lender's job is to get their money back with interest. So just tell them, this is what I'm doing. This is how easy it's going to be to get your money back. This is what I'm offering to borrow your money. Are you in or you out? The end.
Yeah, all right, I will, thank you.
The other thing that I gave you within Creative Elite, so this is in our resources folder, but it's by Sean Sandville. So Sean Sandville, he's very good at getting money out of people. And then on top of it, the network that he has access to a lot of rich people. So Nate, maybe talk to Sean Sandville, maybe take a look at it, but it's his pitch deck. So he has a pitch deck. It's a little bit more sophisticated. If you're like, dude, I'm not into that, just ask ChatGPT. Just be like, here, I'm uploading a pitch deck from this guy, Sean Sandville. Please use this as a template for my deal at 123 Main Street. You know, and then from there you can go in and you can change the numbers on things. But if you don't want to generate documents, because I'm not a person that likes to do that myself, just use what fucking already exists. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just getting Chat Daddy to do it for us and then changing all the things that need to be changed. That's it. It doesn't have to be something. You could even call my brother and just tell him like, hey, I need 45,000 tomorrow. I'm going to pay you this much money. I'm going to borrow it for two weeks. And then if you need me, if you're like, Suzanne, can you just write the document for us? Happy to, for free. That's my brother. And you're my friend. Why would I not? So get on it, Keith. All right. So going back, this last week, what were some highlights, some lowlights from this last week? You finished out the sewer project. That's great. Any challenges this last week for you?
Yeah, actually, I thought I had a crew to start that tear down on Baker Road, and they kind of ghosted me. So I gotta find another. I got guys that'll build it. I ain't worried about that, but just it's the demo. You know what I mean? I want to get it going. But if it don't get going within another week, I'll do it myself. You know, they just look at that. I don't know if it scares them or they don't. You know what I mean? It's demo. You know, it's just wood. You know, I mean, I don't know.
How can you get them to talk to them? So if they're ghosting you and you think that they're a little bit, you know, feeling trepidatious about the project, how can you get them to talk to you? Or like, how can you find the answer to why they're not, you know, connecting with you, why you guys are not moving forward? How do you get the answer to your question?
I don't know. You know, I don't want to bug them too much because guys just turn you off. You know what I mean? So I kind of let a little bit of time and stuff. Tomorrow, I haven't heard, like I said, I gotta get a hold of the builder Kobe, the guy that's gonna build it. And because he had said if this other, because it was a friend of his, and he said if he didn't come up and do anything, that maybe he'd come over and do it. So I gotta talk to Kobe tomorrow, see if I can't get him to start or give me a couple of guys or whatever, you know what I mean? Just everybody's wicked busy. It's unbelievable. Everybody, you know, everybody's busy.
Is it money? Is it not enough money that they're like, it's good work, but we're working on something else, so you're gonna have to, if you throw more money at it, would it solve anything?
No, they're working on somebody else, you know, on something else. They just, you know, they're just busy. They're wicked busy. Because the only other way I got maybe to do it is I gotta get a hold of Scott because I gotta have a couple machines moved next week. Scotty moved my machines, my buddy, and I'll just tell Scott. Scott's been bugging me. He wants to start another road, so he's been bugging me. So I might just tell Scott, well, you got get some guys together to go over and demo that. I'll come to work for you for a couple of weeks, whatever, few weeks, and then we'll start the road, get it going and stuff for you. So that's my next solution.
I'm not gonna lie. So apart from the contractor group that I run that I'm very spoiled by, I feel like according to Jody and Nate on this call, the best place to find work is at a church that is like not English based. So the one that I found is a Brazilian church in Revere. I think I had like 4 contractors, maybe 5 contractors from them. One did my sheetrock, one did my garage wall, one did my insulation, one did my paint, one was my final handyman. So 5 altogether. But yeah, Brazilian church in Revere. I got one person, and then I had the rest of the church. And then according to Jody, I think that's how you get workers.
Huh.
I don't know what church you have in Maine.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, I know Maine pretty well, and there's not a lot of Hispanics up there. It's pretty rough. They get some. You get some Africans along the coastline, but yeah, it's hard
What
up there.
happened? Like I thought people go to Maine for the summer. You know, like there would be more. I get the winter. Nobody wants to go there, and I get that, right? In the summer, don't you guys like come out of the woodworks a little bit? Like, no, I thought Maine was supposed to be beautiful in the summer.
It is. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous, but it's just not very diverse.
What about like, so I had a friend who did a framing project, middle of nowhere, Vermont, and essentially he let the guys stay there for the week. Like their big thing is that they would come up and they would work. They just didn't like the commute.
Yeah, you could get guys from Boston. I mean, I don't know how far up in Maine you are, but there's a lot of guys in Boston that would definitely try, because I get them out in Western Mass. So if they're willing to come out 2 hours out here, they'll go 2 hours north.
You just gotta be able to let them stay at the place or have a running toilet and shower for them.
Not
Maybe
even
kitchen.
Hmm. I guess
Yeah.
that's
How
nothing
far?
out of the box.
How far up in
The
Maine?
only, the only thing, how much you got a demo, Keith?
Not all kinds. It's a dormant cape, and I'm taking the top off it because it already half burnt. So I'm gonna take the top off it and go colonial.
So you can't. So you're saving the building. You're just taking the top off.
Just taking the top
Okay.
off.
I thought you were gonna demo the whole thing. I says, my hell, you got to have a thumb on your machine and just go.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, no, most of the house is all good. I gotta gut the
Okay.
underneath of it, but the kitchen and living room stuff, I got the bottom, but I want to go up on the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. We have, if we have to do that, we have people that stand out at Home Depot to. I mean, in Salt Lake, there's 40 people that stand outside on the street for looking for work.
That's crazy. We do not have laborers like that out
Oh,
here.
yeah. Yeah, you pay them cash, they'll come and do anything for you.
That's well. Yeah, depending on how far you are from Boston, I got roofers in Boston based out there. They'll come up and take that dormer off.
Keith, you want to ask them? You want to have him ask for you?
How far away from Boston are you?
2.5 hours or so, 3.
Yeah, they'll go that far. They come out to me, and I'm an hour and 45.
Yeah.
If you want, you see my phone number on this Zoom. Just text me the details, and I tell me what it is, and I can shoot this guy a text and get you a quote from him pretty easy.
Hey, Jody, those guys that stand outside of like Home Depot and Lowe's, nothing changed now that ice is a thing.
There's not as many, but they're still there.
That's
Good for them.
crazy. Yeah, good for them.
What's your name? What's your number, Nathan? I see a 413 and then 8, and then I don't see nothing.
Yeah,
I'll put you on a group text. Don't worry. I got you. I'll put you on a group text after the call. The other thing, Nathan, is I'll tag you in the directory. Keith, I think you're in the directory, but so I have a directory which is so you guys can find each other and others can find you.
Perfect.
Oh, where'd you go?
She froze.
Well, she's driving. She probably hit a spot. But if you're still there, I could just tell you my phone number the old school way.
Yeah,
Okay,
world's
so I'll put you on a group chat with Keith. Keith is good to me. I'm very good to him. And then once you're in the group, I'll also tag you in the directory. So make sure you fill out the directory, and that way people can find you and you can find others. But you get everybody's information. You get to see what they put in for themselves. Like they'll describe themselves. They'll describe what they're working on. So, the other things that you can't get from today, you'll find his location, his email, his everything. Keith,
Nice.
you're in the directory, right? You filled it out, the Google form?
The only one I've ever filled out was the one you sent me when in sub two, so maybe not.
Maybe not, but I'll get you. Don't worry. I'll get you both in there. And then again, after the call, I'll put you guys on a group text so you can meet. But Keith, no offense, I'm not trying to yell at you, but I'm gonna yell at you. Open your GD mouth. And I'm not trying to say GD because I got two Latter-day Saints guy on this call right now. But Keith, you need to ask for things. Stop being so shy.
Oh, no, I do, young lady. Trust me, trust me.
Lord,
I,
Lord
I
helps
know,
those who help themselves.
Yeah,
I know.
he's right though.
That's
You can't be pushing these tradesmen
right.
too much because once they ghost you, they'll ghost you forever. They got big feelings sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
they do. They do. I thought I lost my new heat guy.
Yeah,
Nice young feller, because heat guys and plumbing guys are hard to find, and I went through three of them, and on the third
yeah,
one, this guy uses a young fellow that's got his license for gas and boiler, but what he does is he runs maintenance on some of these car dealerships stuff, but he wants to go on his own. So Dylan got me a hold of Ryan. Well, he came over and saw me, and I showed him what I had to do and stuff. Nice guy, nice young feller, good. He's not real busy or anything, you know what I mean? All week. I text him, I write it. Well, finally this morning he calls me. That was my blessing. Finally this morning he calls me. Friday's coming over. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday he'll put my heat in the system in, and I'll be good. So, but I got a good heating guy finally again. So
good. Keith, the other thing I would tell you is, so I have that contractor group. It's supposed to be for Massachusetts and New Hampshire. I'm happy to let you post in there and just say, listen, little bit of a left field thing, but if anyone would be willing to come up here, I'm looking to get this done. I got cash in hand, and I'm ready to go. So at the end
yeah.
of the day, because one of the things that happened is I used to be beholden to these guys that would ghost me or not show up. And you get to a point, especially so Jody has a house that every month he's paying 10,000 in interest only. That gets painful really effing quick when every single week costs you 2,500, right? I don't have time to wait for these guys. So at one point, again, I used to have this mindset of I am beholden to this one guy. I'm not going to cheat on him. I'm very loyal to him, but he had an attitude problem. And then the next day, suddenly this other guy breezed onto my plate and he's like, I'm here, I'll do whatever you want. And I was like, why I couldn't mentally break free from this one guy is because I didn't know that I had options. So what I'm going to tell you to do is open your GD mouth, Keith. Ask Nathan to ask his guy if he'd be willing to come up. Ask me to put it in my contractor group, even though it's not for Maine, and just right. You got to ask for people. And then last thing is
I,
talk to my brother and sister. I'll put you on a group chat with them and just
yeah,
tell them, give me money.
yeah, and I will get a hold of Nathan if it's just that I've already got feelers out for four different people, you know what I mean? I don't
Okay.
want to go too, if this doesn't come in the next couple of days, then I will,
But it's Keith, it's
I've got this,
time.
I've
Yeah.
got this week. I've got this week. My Lawler's broke down right now, trying to get my mechanic to come up to fix it. Well, he's had trouble with his kid, his little kid. He's been in the hospital with him and stuff. I just talked to him tonight. Poor kid, but he's in a couple of days. So Thursday he's going to start working on it to get it fixed. And I kind of need it. It'd be a lot easier to take that roof off with the lull than it would. I need it to set trusses and everything else with. So I got, trust me, end of the week, I will have somebody for next week because I have to get going next week. Like I said, I got to get going next week. So hopefully some of these things will come around. I will. Trust me, I will.
Okay.
I
Time is
appreciate
money.
it.
It's honestly, it's my biggest problem. On the Andover house, people ask me how much money did you make? And I think I made I think I made 4,000, but then I have a $20,000 like incentive rebate that I'm getting for all the energy efficiency things that I did. And they're like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, my biggest problem is time because I would almost wait for things to happen linearly, or I didn't want to piss off my GC. And I made him a prima donna. I put him first. I did all this shit for him. And so, like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, time is money. And I think it's important for you to know that you have options, because if one of your options is not being good to you and you have no idea, you just think that this is all you have. And then somebody else comes through and you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't know how bad I kind of had it with this one guy because I didn't know that I had options." So I want you to have options. At the end of the day, it's all a communication thing. If all four of your feelers pop, you just tell them, "Listen, I'm sorry. Somebody else got back to me sooner. I would have loved to have given you the job, but I need to go now. Thank you for getting back to me. I look forward to working with you in the future." And if they pop off at you and they say something fresh, great. See you later. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to be a shithead and if you don't want to work with me right now, tell me now. Don't tell me later. Tell me now. Goodbye. Like, I need to keep it moving. So anyway, get loud, Keith Lyons. And then Mark Gullifer, I saw you. You unmute and you undo your camera. Mark and I went to a meetup tonight, and then he got out like at 9 o'clock. I left an hour early to make sure I was on the call. How was it?
It was good. Cam's my boy. I like him. He's solid fucking people. He will put other people's best interests first above his own. I was there to support him. I like him. He's good. I'm proud of him.
Good. Me too. I kind of fell a little bit more in love with him tonight, because before I was kind of like, "Who is this guy? I think he smells like weed." I'm
He
not
for
gonna
sure
lie.
smelled like weed. He absolutely he did. He did even a little bit tonight. It was much less though. He's putting his professional pants on.
Yeah.
Nah, so it was good. Yeah, I was glad. It was funny. I liked it. It's good stuff.
Any other good connections that came out of tonight? I was really impressed by the meetup. So Keith, we went to like a brewery. They had 4 sponsors. They had pizzas coming out all night long. The place is called Lord Hobo. They have a brewery. They had drink tickets, so everybody got a drink ticket. So technically, the party got started immediately. But I thought it was great. They had a professional what is it, for a professional photographer there. And then the guy who's in charge of it is this guy named like Jason Goldfarb, who's part of the boardroom, like with Kent Clothier. Anyway, he runs with some big dogs. He's met Pace personally. But yeah, he seems like a quality person. I was happy to get to meet him tonight. So thank you for inviting me, Mark.
Yeah, he's good people. Yeah, he's just solid. He's been an agent forever, got into like flipping and wholesaling. He's solid. It was good. I was glad. I'm trying to make it a thing to get out there more and like go meet people because I tend to not do that. So I did it. It was good. Yeah. Other people. Yeah,
Good.
Cam introduced me to some people that like may be interested in trying to like cold call and whatever. Everybody says that. That's fine. But like I am looking for those people. Met a agent who has.
Thinking about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thinking about, so you met some cool people. You met some cool people tonight. You're happy that you got out. I think it's a great event to go to and continue to go to. And then because we're a little bit short on time, I wanted to ask you, what'd you end up, highlights and lowlights from this past week? What were things that you accomplished? What were some challenges you went through?
Oh, let's see. Things I accomplished. I actually wrote this. So I signed a new deal within the past week since this last appointment. It's like kind of a package deal in the South Shore. So that is an accomplishment. That's good.
Yay.
I did onboard that cold caller, although like he made 100 dials the first day, and like I know that it's part-time and I'm not a micromanager, but it's been like 6 days since then and nothing's happened. So like we'll see. I'll give it some time, but we'll talk about that. I mean, but he's here. He's making a couple calls. Ooh, big one. Small but big for me. I successfully myself set up a Zapier from to push my pay-per leads to my CRM. Every time a pay-per lead came in, it would be email or text. I would have to like copy on my phone and create a lead. It was stupid. But no, that's good. I also, because I closed those deals, I increased my pay per lead budget to like 3,000 a month, maybe 4,000. So that's good. Things I need to do. I need to secure a buyer for the South Shore project situation. So looking forward to that. And I am continuing due diligence on the potential New Hampshire sub 2. While I was on my way home, actually, you gotta love it. People are motivated when they'll just put their social security number like on your document and just like email it to like. So I got the third party authorization form signed finally, so I can go and
Good.
put that in, submit that to the bank, so I can figure it out. Closing is like 2 weeks away. I got some figuring and some due diligence to do. Those are my challenges. I have to get after that, which I am actively doing. So
Do you have an inspection period on that one?
yeah, it ends like Saturday, Sunday, potentially, because like
So-
because the seller wanted to take his foot off the gas because I had partially part of the picture, which I understood that. I took my foot off the gas. I wanted him to figure out if he really wanted to do it because it's a big commitment. He was unsure, so the whole first week was pretty much a wash. But I'm at the point where I'll pretty much I could ask him for an extension, and I think he'd be down if I needed it.
Yeah.
But like also I don't need it.
But I think he needs it, right?
He probably will need it. He was talking about timeline. He was unsure. He's like, I might need to change the closing date, and I was like, well, sooner or later. Like, what is it? And he doesn't know yet. So my guess is it will be some sort of an extension, which will be helpful. I'm waiting for the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services to get back to me with potential septic as-built plans to kind of figure out everything about that. I have my buddy scheduled to meet me up there on Saturday. He's a septic designer and like engineering land survey guy, and he's great. He's gonna do it for me for free. So we're going up on Saturday. I might have like one of my HVAC buddies come up and just kind of check that system. That's what I got going for that.
I
Yeah.
like that you're seeing the property again because I think it's important for you to go back and see it again. I like the idea of you having or giving yourself more time to cancel the contract if it doesn't work out, because obviously there were things that you didn't know of that popped up later. Last thing is, how did you do your Zapier integration? Who helped you with that, or how'd you figure it out?
I mean, all the information is online. It was between like searching Follow Up Boss, like help, and Zapier help, watching a couple of videos. It was all there. It's just I don't take easily to that stuff. Like it took me like 2 or 3 days to figure out. I don't take easily to that stuff. Once I understand it, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I don't know. It's like $20 a month, and it's totally worth it just for me not. I have always dealt with like the nitty gritty. I literally do not want to touch a lead until it is a qualified appointment for me because I'm a princess. And so like anything before that, I just don't enjoy and don't love. So I had to do that. It was stupid. It was small, but it was big.
I'm happy you got it done. It's that whole like it makes your life easier, even the small stuff. The other thing that I'll tell you is back in the day, I used to I used to chat with customer service, and I used to make them handhold me and do it for me. And they would, because they wanted me to be foreman. Essentially, I would threaten to leave if they didn't help me. I don't know if it's just because like I'm a woman and they let me do it, but dude, it was the best thing ever. I could not get over how helpful they were. So anyway,
Yep. That's I like that approach. It's good. I figured out it works. It's successful so far. It has all the information I want there.
and the other thing that I'll tell you from the other things that you're talking about, getting yourself a buyer. It's Seekonk, right? Seekonk, Swansea.
Swansea.
Okay, I have a buyer. I have a couple buyers in. I have a couple buyers that work with the Moss Group, but again, if you're doing it with the Moss Group and you're going to split the whatever, you might as well just talk to some of the end buyers before you lob it their way. So I have a couple. One is Jay Gatta, and the other one is Chris Messier. I don't know if he's still buying. The other one is Kyle Seaboy, who is a little bit of a shark.
Okay.
We'll see.
I'm open to that. I'm letting Devin spear that
Yeah.
a little bit, but also like we will. we're pretty much going to the guy down there, like the whale of like the South Shore guy. So we're bringing it to him first, while I'm also putting a few smaller feelers out there. It's got to be the right person, because it's like if you're building anything but the footprint, it's like pre-existing non-conforming. You got to go through variance. We don't have the time for that. It probably won't be accepted.
Who,
So we just
who's the whale?
Ron Oliveira or something like that. He just
I
like,
know Ron.
yeah, he's like the guy down there.
He's the guy in New Bedford. He's the guy in Fall River. I don't know that he would build something new, but it's possible. He's very aggressive agent for 48 Union Street. And I literally hired him because it was the first time I was in New Bedford, and I was like, I need your Rolodex. And so I was like, give me the biggest whale. And it was Ron. Yep.
Yeah, so he's the guy down there. He like, yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know him. I've dealt with him. Like we've run a few deals by him when I worked at Whiteacre, but yeah. So we're gonna bring it to him first, and if not, then we're gonna go to Moss. I think it's the plot is
Or
thick.
I'm gonna throw something your way.
Yeah.
I think Kyle can beat out everybody, but we'll see. Anyway, I have some people I can introduce you to, and we'll see what happens.
There's a renegotiation coming in the near future, for sure. Like, I knew about some of this stuff, but it just gets worse. Like, I don't think any of them are hooked up to town water, even it may or may not be available. I don't think any, like all the septics are bad, even if we have to rebuild. You know, one of the properties, the best property potentially that could be actually a fix and flip, maybe. Like that, it has a clean bill from the environmental services, but like there's a high water table around, and all septics need to be redone, so that's going to be a expense. And then what happened is the basement flooded, and it's oil heat, so like oil water right out the sump into the yard, and so that it's cleaned up, and
Yeah.
we have the paperwork about it, but it's like not ideal for resale. So like, you know. But either way, it's 3 single family properties that I think
I don't think it matters.
rip off the foundation and rebuild. But
So 488 Union Street was right next door to some sort of mechanic, and they had either underground tanks that leaked into
is that me or her? Probably her. She's driving.
it wasn't a thing at the end of the day. Ron was part of that deal, but I'll be honest, like when I hired Ron as an agent, he really didn't, apart from meeting me the first time and like texting me, didn't really say anything. His whole team runs the whole back end. So it's Anna who runs everything.
Yeah, but yeah, he's not like an agent on this. We're looking at him as a buyer. So I mean, he probably still has his team running it. I don't know. Either way, I think he's the guy to go to. His first initial
He's good.
response, his initial response was questions. It was not just no, right? So that's huge when you're dealing with somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's good. We'll see. It's challenging, but we'll get there. I'm already kind of prepping the attorney for like a price renegotiation conversation about this. He's trying to not. He's pushing back a little bit. We'll get there, you know.
So Saturday, you're going to go see the property again. You need to line up a buyer for the Swansea package. Tom, check in with Tom. Increase your pay per lead budget. Do you know like how much you spent thus far on pay per lead and how much pay per lead has brought in for you?
Haverly has brought nothing in for me, so that one's easy. I have like the sub 2 deal came from it. A hot lead in Boston, triple decker with the asking price of 800 came in from it. Again, nothing signed. We're pushed off. Timeline's a little stalled. The weird deal in Hampton with like it's generating good leads. It's generating a lot of shit leads, but for the good leads that it's generating, it's worth the dollars I've spent because I know I will close them. So I'm confident. But so far, I think I've spent like 4,500. And right, like Massachusetts, anywhere $5,000 to $10,000 for like per acquisition deal cost. is average, and I have like 3 or 4 hot leads cooking out of that. So I'm more than happy with that.
Good.
I might add a second paper lead service in, like a cheaper one, just to like fill it more. So I ran out of follow-ups to do. Like today, like no tasks left over, nothing really that I have to like focus on. No paper leads are coming in because I kind of hit my budget for the month. I had to fucking cold call. It sucked. I only did it for like an hour. Pushed like 1 or 2 leads that are already under contract, but open to backup offers. Nothing crazy. So I might try to bring in some cheaper paper lead, like ISP to lead stuff, just to like make it easy. Whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So that's what I got going on. She frozen again?
Yeah, it's
No.
my fault. The Wi-Fi kicked on. Sorry.
At least your microphone works tonight.
It's because I'm on my phone. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you have an exciting week coming up. Is there anything that you need to do differently this coming week that you didn't do last week? Anything that you didn't do that you should be doing?
I could for sure. I could be working a lot more, you know. Maybe I should go fishing a little more though. I don't know. Both. Both. But
All right.
I could be logging a ton more hours. But I kind of don't want to.
You will figure it out. Either way, you'll figure it out.
Yep.
I'll tell you. So time is 10:09, and then Nate, I got a laundry list of things I got to do for you and for Keith, and I'm happy to do so. I'll tell you from my end. This week I ended up. I don't know what I did exactly, but I spent. It's Mother's Day. I went down. I'm at my mom's house planting her garden for the year. The other thing is I had a court case with Z. I had a court hearing today with Z to file a motion, which failed because the problem is he's located in Maine, but the property we worked on is in Massachusetts, and he incorrectly filed to say that he holds an office in Massachusetts. So doing it in a Massachusetts court for a Maine property that's registered in Las Vegas is just a mess. And then the second thing that I'll say is he didn't like that my numbers were not accurate. So what I have to do is I have to submit all my invoices for all my accounting, which is fine because I got them. So essentially, I guess I'll just throw him underneath an avalanche of paperwork. But I'm in the right space of being able to do it because I'm in between projects. I'm more than a year out from when it all happened, so I'm less emotional about everything. And so that's the next thing I need to do is continue to ensure that I come correct when it comes to serving it back to Z on this thing, because I told my attorneys I didn't come this far to just give up at the end. I'm gonna give it everything so that when I look back, I know that I didn't leave anything on the table. So I have a lot of accounting I need to do for litigation. Fun times. But yeah, so that's my week. I'm going to plant a garden and I'm going to go do that. Very balanced, I think, right? Like upsetting litigation and gardening. So
That's good.
but
You
that's
get
the
it back.
goal. Thank you. I have some meetups that we're going to keep doing. So I'm finding out more and more about them. Obviously, I went to one tonight, which I was happy to go to. I think I made some good connections. At the end of the day, I'm looking for really good people. I have this event that I want to do in maybe November. So I told you guys that I want to do Creative Elite again, but differently. Everyone is going to be hand selected by me. And then I think I'm going to allow you guys to bring a +1 just for you. But for me, at least the people that I'm choosing to be in that room and to do all this for, I want it to be hand selected. And I'm also thinking that it's probably going to be about 60 people that I hand select. And so I really want to curate the best people to be in that room. Yeah. So I'm going out there, I'm trying to go to meetups, meet some really high quality people to put them in that room, because once we're in that room, then super awesome things are going to happen. But so I'm on a quest to go to meetups to make more friends, to meet quality people, and then to bring it back to obviously Creative Elite, and then to share all our resources together. Yeah, so if you know of any events that are happening that are worthwhile, if you know of any good people to meet that are worthwhile, please introduce me. What I do is obviously I host this call every Tuesday from 8 to 10 o'clock. I have that Facebook group that I run so that we can share resources back and forth to each other. And then on a monthly basis, I'm trying to have like either a dinner or a hike that I do. And I know, like Keith, I know like I'm not hiking anywhere near your neck of the woods, and so it's hard to meet up. And so what I'm trying to do is on a quarterly basis, or maybe on a like a what is it, like bi-yearly basis, to have some sort of big fat meetup that everybody can come to and really enjoy. But again, if I do all this effort to have a big fat meetup, I want it to be worth it. I'm not going to drag you out of your house in 6 hours to come visit me unless it's worth your while. And I know you're very sweet about it, but I am trying to blow your socks off in all the best ways possible. Okay, I want it to be worth your while. I want to have the most amount of impact I can have in the time that you allow me to have it. And especially if I have a room full of some of the best people on planet Earth, then I want to maximize the opportunity. So Creative Elite is coming. I think it's going to be in November. I need to pick a date and then send it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so look forward to that. But that's what I'm working on, is having a big fat event, making good friends, finishing up, closing out old litigation, and planting a garden for the summer.
Nice.
Good, nice.
Love
Anyway,
that.
everyone, gentlemen, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me. Again, at the end of the day, the call is for us to review what we did this past week, to talk about what we got coming up this next week, all in an effort to keep ourselves accountable and to help out each other where we can help out. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you when I see you. And I got shit to do. If I forget, because I'm old, just remind me, please. Yeah.
Get on there.
All right. Goodbye. Nice
Thanks.
seeing
See ya.
everyone.
See ya.